You are listening to episode 1 of the Sovereign Sessions. Welcome to the Sovereign Sessions. I am your host, Kathleen Sylvia Salons, and I'm so happy that you're here. I run the House of Unfurling, which is a website where you can find wisdom, coaching, and resources to help you find and live your calling. I am recording this for you 2 weeks into the lockdown for the coronavirus. And it's been a very interesting time. I just wanted to record this for you with a couple of insights that I want to share that will hopefully serve you. Wherever you are, I hope this finds you well. And may it support you wherever and whenever you listen to this. So the very first thing that I really want to kind of really explore with you today is this: we are not alone. And so really I invite you to sit with these words. Allow yourself to really feel into the incredible depth and beauty of these words. You are not alone. I think in times like these, we tend to feel all of the rawness of things, and we tend to feel them amplified more than we usually do. So our society in many ways is a society of high individuality. So there is a sense of isolation for many of us, I think. When imagine that you're working in an office building somewhere and you take the train to go there, how often do you actually speak to the people around you, to the strangers around you? How often do you look them straight in their face or even in their eyes? I think for most of us, there's this sense that other people are in a way maybe even threatening, and there's not a lot of tolerance for just wanting to reach out to one another, to wanting to connect with one another. And so isolation is something that we've all felt at one point or multiple times in our lives. And with what is happening now, there is this very interesting thing that is happening, which is there is such an acuteness to how aware we have become of what it really feels like to be isolated. And at the same time, there is this incredible movement that is just welling up from within the ocean of just humanity, in a way, where you can really also see that a natural way of relating to one another is togetherness, is being genuinely interested in one another, is being genuinely wanting to offer support to one another. So we're really moving through an incredibly intense and interesting contrast at the moment, which I believe we can already start to form such empowered visions from. So I'll be talking more about envisioning the new at the end of this episode. But so coming back to this notion that we are truly not alone, It really depends where you are currently and what you're currently experiencing. How acute the sense of isolation will be for you. And so, from my personal perspective, I know that I am privileged in the sense that I am a mum. I have my husband and my children here with us at home. And we also have all of our pets. So I don't know if you can hear it, but in the background in my office right now, one of our pet hamsters is making a lot of noise, just playing around. So one of the things that I am deeply grateful for every day is that we are here together. And it does bring, of course, its challenges. It really does. But at the same time, we are together through the isolation. And I know that that is not the case for everyone. Some people are really living this incredible sense of loneliness, being alone through this, being isolated without any human contact, except for what is available to us through social media and through all of the different technologies that we thankfully have, like all of the different meeting platforms and the things like Facebook Messenger and Instagram messages and just regular, being able to phone one another and have conversations and see each other's faces. But still, that is not the same as actual human togetherness in the way that we are all craving right now, which is just this idea that we get to come together whenever we choose to, and that we get to hang out together on the couch and just laugh and make silly jokes and talk really serious, deep conversations as well, and share food and hugs and tears and laughs and just cuddling and touching one another. One of the things that this has really made me realize is how I actually don't really touch people that often. So when I think about when I meet my best friend, we tend not really to touch or to hug a lot, and that is definitely something that I'm wanting to change going forward, because it is such an important and beautiful expression of our love for one another. So when we have the privilege of touch, then actually why not use it? So isolation. One of the things that really made me say that we are not alone in this is I just read a beautiful article that is written by someone who is really experiencing isolation. So I'm going to link that article in the show notes for you. But it's basically written by a single mom in New York City with a 2-year-old toddler, and she is going through the illness. She is going through the fevers and everything that comes with this specific virus. And so she's in her apartment, and the way that she describes her experience is just so beautiful, so real and so beautifully written. And it's one of the things that have really struck me in these past weeks is that there is such beauty, such incredible beauty, and kind of depth of expression that we all have the possibility to, and that very often we simply do not allow to surface because it doesn't really have its place within our normal day-to-day structures and modes of operations. Things in our society and culture tend to be much more on the surface and in a more, you could say, neutralized aspect of personality that can or is allowed to shine through. So this is one of the things, the beautiful things that is really coming to the surface as we just witness what is happening in the world and how we're all together and individually dealing with this. We are seeing just how much beauty there is in the human expression. And that is one of the gifts I feel that this is bringing us, that this is showing us again something to remember for the rest of our lives, what is possible, the potential that we have, and the choice that we have now that we have seen what it looks like when we're more raw and real and unfiltered. When a lot of our surface things have been stripped away, and what we are have come face to face with is really our own mortality and falling away of security and safety, and really this kind of the only word that I can use for this is this raw element to all of our just reflections on life at the moment, and this kind of filter that has been deleted from the way that we show up and relate to one another and express to one another and express ourselves in the world. We are allowing ourselves to be seen more and more just as we are, unfiltered, with no masks, just the incredible beauty of expression. And that is a choice that I hope we'll continue to make as a collective, as this situation moves forward and as we re-emerge into what is more like a semblance of normal again, which is something that I absolutely believe will happen. I really do hope that we have learned from this and that we take with us certain choices for keeping that rawness and that realness and that unfiltered expression, and the expression of ourselves in the world, but also just of how much we care about one another. Just this absolute, unfiltered, honest caring about loved ones and strangers, one human to another. So this is really something that I'm hoping that we'll take forward from this. Now, you are not alone. Really allow yourself to lean into all of the expressions of deep love and care that you can witness everywhere right now. So whether it's in your own neighborhood and community, in your family, whether it's online, just all of these beautiful, beautiful just expressions of love and care. Like, I mean, how poetic is it that people around the globe, in various places around the globe, are just singing to one another across the street, or that they are coming together at a set moment in the day, all outside of their buildings. Well, for as far as that is allowed, but just all separately but still together on their balconies, and just singing saying their gratitude to all of the people in the front lines right now, all of the nurses and doctors, and just how beautiful is that? That people really show how much they care for absolute complete strangers, and that they choose to spend a part of their day, a part of their time, just expressing that love and that encouragement and that appreciation and gratitude. What a shift that this is versus just over a month ago. This was unthinkable. We could never have imagined the incredible amount of outpouring of love and compassion and care that we are witnessing right now in the world. And there's more things. There's people sewing masks that can go to the nurses and doctors and all of the staff working on the front lines in hospitals. And there's people who are spending their own money investing in small businesses, in artists, or just giving a beautiful gift of financial support so that a single mom can feel safe for at least a couple of weeks into the future as she sits this out at her house with her children and no income. So there is so much, just so many outpourings at the moment that I really would invite you to not just see as you scroll your newsfeed, but really sit with and allow yourself to soak in that vibration, that frequency of love. Because this is an incredible opportunity to anchor in what it feels like to see humanity, one human versus another, really pour out love, speak love, express love, show through actions what it looks like to love one another. And again, the more that we can lean into that frequency, that awareness, that conscious witnessing of what is happening right now, the more that we can start to nurture that as something that we wish to see on a constant, continuous basis for humanity going forward, no matter what the circumstances. No matter if it's regular, normal, day-to-day life or an extreme situation as what we have now with this pandemic. So again, you are not alone, and I really invite you to sit with that understanding, that awareness, to let the medicine of that insight just soak through your whole being and let it soothe you, let it bring you relief, and start really to bring that in, to witness more consciously and to anchor that into your whole being as a vision for the future. There's two more things that I really want to share with you today. And the first is this, that we are currently, again, walking through our days with an invitation to dance with a paradox. And so the first element of that paradox is that we, first of all, need to take incredibly good care of ourselves. I know that for many of us, for those of you listening and who are drawn to my work, you are someone who really wants to contribute something meaningful to the world. And a situation like this is calling to something within you. You cannot just stay and not do anything. You have to reach beyond your own self and do something that will help change things for the better. And so the first thing that really is so important with that is that you can only do that in a really effective way if you do it from a space of overflowing. And especially in a situation like this where there is a virus going round and where it is really important that your immune system is strong and healthy and can withstand contact with the virus without that meaning that you will get sick inevitably. It doesn't have to be like that. If your immune system is strong, then even when you come into contact with a virus, that doesn't, you don't necessarily have to fall ill. But that means that more than any other time before, it is even more important now to really take such exquisite care of yourself. And I'm looking for a better word, because exquisite is absolutely part of it, but it's almost like, when we say sometimes we use the word religiously, right? And it means that you do something like with such devotion. And so maybe that is the word that we should use now when it comes to our self-care at the moment, is it needs to be done with such devotion. It needs to be done with devotion to your own short-term and long-term well-being. It needs to be done with devotion to just being the best, healthiest version of yourself that you can be right now within these circumstances, within your current situation, with what you have at hand in terms of grocery and anything that can nourish and support you. You know, it's not about freaking out that we don't have certain specialized things that will help us really take care of ourselves in the best way. It is doing the best that you can with what you have, but doing it from a place of absolute devotion to your well-being and to your longer term ability to being able to show up for other people from this space where you're so strong and so resilient within yourself that you can show up for others. You can go to the grocery store and pick up things for your neighbor without, being fearful that a trip to the grocery store is going to have you fall ill. It is being able to be there throughout your days with your children and your partners, and having just that little bit extra tolerance and patience and, again, resilience within yourself, being just that little bit more able to always come back to center, to bring yourself back to center, to bring yourself back to serenity, to bring yourself back with all of the tools that you have to a space where you can just go just that little bit further in this situation where you are being together. You have no choice but being together most of the time during your days. So really taking incredibly good care of yourself, and I mean that in every possible way. Now is the time to really commit. Like, again, commitment and devotion are two sides of the same energy. So play with both of these. But I would say really commit and sit with devotion. Both when it comes to taking care of your physical needs. So do you need to sleep more? Do you need more naps? Do you need maybe specific foods that you don't consider the most healthy in normal circumstances, but right now you need that extra nourishment that they bring? Like for me, personally, I've been eating just a bit more chocolate than I usually do. And it's not my usual dark chocolate. I'm actually eating a bit more milk chocolate at the moment. And it's just something that my body seems to crave. I know that for me, that chocolate means like the flavors for me just feel deeply nourishing to my body, and my emotional body is really soothed by this at the moment. So I don't second guess, myself in choosing this. It's just simply what I crave at the moment. So really be incredibly kind towards yourself, which is not the same as indulgent, which is not the same as emotional eating. But just bring a little bit more tenderness to the way that you move through your days, and the way that you listen to your physical body, and that you gift it what it needs, what it is asking for. Going back to the example of the chocolate, to me this also feels like linked to my emotional body, and specifically my tender inner child at the moment, which is really feeling the insecurities and the anxiety, right? And it needs just a little bit more more soothing. So taking care of ourselves, of our physical body, our emotional body, of our spiritual body. So I would absolutely say, when you walk throughout your day, as you walk throughout your day, take note of what you feel you need. And also look at ways that maybe before all of this happened, you felt like you didn't have the time to do things as you really wanted to do them. Like maybe in the mornings you didn't really feel like you had 15 minutes to sit in silent meditation and tune in with your heart, tune in with your body, tune in with your room, and tune in with your guidance. Well, that is something that I would really recommend that you start doing, because most of us have just a little bit more spaciousness in our days, even though our rhythms have been completely, needed to be revised, and it's still sometimes quite chaotic, or it may still feel a bit intense, and there's lots of things that are tugging at our attention at the moment. I do feel like for many of us, we do have just that little bit more spaciousness that allows us 15 minutes extra, for instance, for meditation. Or it could be moving. Maybe you felt like you didn't really have the time to move your body. So maybe now you can just do 10 minutes of dancing or stretching or yoga. Wherever you feel drawn to at the moment, whatever feels like it would be deeply supportive and nourishing. And I use that word nourishing a lot because I feel like right now, one of the ways that we can really sustain our immune system and boost our immune system is by looking at what feels nourishing to us. In terms of movement, in terms of sleep, in terms of food, drinks, in terms of maybe what you listen to. For instance, are you listening more now to the news, or are you listening more to audiobooks or podcasts, or maybe audio recordings from a course I did a while ago? Are you tuning in on Spotify or SoundCloud or iTunes or even YouTube to meditations and to beautiful soothing meditation music? So these are all things that I really invite you to play with and explore for yourself. What feels nourishing right now? What could you do to really support yourself move through this in a way that feels like you are truly taking care of yourself, and in that sense being able to show up for yourself and for everyone else in just a slightly more conscious and empowered way. And then the second aspect of all of this paradox that we're walking, is it's not just about surviving what is happening right now. It is also about constantly, absolutely constantly tuning in to what you wish to carry forward from this into the future. And by that I mean your individual future, and also what you envision for our human future, so the future for this world, this planet, and humanity. So this is so important, because I feel like when we can gift ourselves this choice, and it is a choice, to constantly throughout our days bring things back to this is happening right now, and going forward I choose this. And so what you choose is a feeling, it's a vibration, it is a behavior that you see in the world, it is an action that you witness people take right now, it is a demonstration of what is possible when everyone comes together and when everyone really start to look beyond the surface of things and starts to look at what matters, what deeply matters to us as human beings. And part of that is togetherness. Part of that is expressing our love and care for one another. Part of that is daring to be just who we are and daring to be seen in that, to be fully expressed in that, and really allowing others to witness us in that, and to be completely, in a way, neutral as to how we are received in the world. Completely open and receptive to the love that is, that is showing itself to us in response to how we're showing up in the world, and also just creating firm boundaries around what we will and will not tolerate from other human beings in terms of behaviors towards us and others. So there is such a richness and a depth that I feel is available to us right now, looking at what is happening in the world, looking at how one human responds to another human, looking at all of the depth that is just coming to the surface right now that we could not even have imagined or suspected was really there. I think for many of us, we have been envisioning what we call heaven on earth for quite a long time now, and it is such a absolute, like, almost a shock to start to see how many things are already happening right now in this situation, which is a situation of heartache and such depth of grief. And at the same time, it shows us that heaven on earth is a possibility. It is a potential that is already here. And it is showing us that on a collective level, the majority of people are absolutely able to step into that and to be the kind of person who embodies that through their words and their actions towards themselves and towards one another. So it is something that is just breathtaking to even witness. And now I think for us, the job is really to bring what we have witnessed into our vision and to start amplifying the things that we really have seen are possible and that we want to see amplified in our future more and more and more, and to also see where maybe things are showing us that our version or vision of heaven on earth maybe wasn't as complete as it could be. So I think this leaves us so much room to fine-tune, to amplify and fine-tune. And so I want to leave you today with just this invitation to take time every day. First, as you walk through your day and you witness something that takes your breath away, or that makes your heart like leap with joy as to what you're witnessing, really take a moment right then and there to anchor that into your vision, to speak the words towards the universe, to say like, yes, I see this, I witness this, and thank you. I wish to see more of this into our future. And so you're really anchoring in what you've witnessed as something that is potentially going to be amplified in the future. You're commanding it into reality. And then I would also invite you to take maybe 10 minutes every evening as you wind down from your day to really sit with your hand on your heart and to tune into what you have witnessed, what this has shown you about your vision for the future, the gratitude that you feel towards humanity and towards specific humans, and to really soak in a vibration of deep, deep gratitude and appreciation, and to also continue amplifying and anchoring in your vision for what is to come. So your vision of heaven on earth and what that looks like, and really taking time daily to anchor that in and anchor that in over and over and over again, because this is really a time where we are being face to face with a powerful gateway, where we are currently really shaping the new through our actions, our words, our thoughts, and our choices. So I hope you'll join me in really making your choices count. Make them powerful. Make them visionary. So just to recap what we have talked about today, I really hope that this has been supportive for you. We have talked about the fact that what we're seeing in the world right now is really showing us that we are never, ever, ever truly alone. Not even in a time when we are physically more isolated than we've ever been. We've talked about the two things of the paradox right now. The first one being how important it is to take incredible good care of yourself so that you can overflow for as long as you need to, so that you can hold space for yourself and for your vision and for the people in your life. And then we also talked about this idea of heaven on earth, and really our jobs right now to choose throughout our days to constantly anchor and amplify that vision of the new. So I would invite you to close this. I would invite you to reach out to me, just share with me any of your insights, following this. Reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram, or just email me. Tell me how you're walking through life right now, what is going on for you, what these times have been feeling like for you, and what you have been kind of finding real rejoicing in at the moment. What has really struck you, what has stood out for you as you witness humanity go through this global pandemic? And also, if you're wanting to share, what are you envisioning for our future? And if you'd love to just access more content like this, I would love to see you join us over at the Fierce Love Collective. So you can find the link to join us for that on my website. So I'll link that below, but the link is kathleensalans.com/the collective. And this is a space where I share a lot of writings and also occasionally audios and videos, things that can really support us as we go through these times, but also going forward, walking this paradox of being human beings on planet Earth, really living this existence, really moving through it day by day by day with all of the challenges that it brings, and also being humans who walk a path of purpose and devotion, meaning that we are walking a path where we hold space for ourselves, we hold space for others, and we hold space for a vision for the future. I hope that you are well, and we will talk again soon. Bye.